So we're going to continue. We're going to continue on the journey of exploring the basics of science of mind. We're going to talk about mental equivalence today, because this is the thing that really creates what is our mental equivalent of anything. And so here's something, I've got a lot of Ernest Holmes in here because he gives me a really strong foundation from which to piggyback off of. And so the law, that creative power that's within everyone, it's also the creative power that is the infinite creative power, is infinite, perfect. But in order to make a demonstration, we must have a mental equivalent of the thing we desire. Do you see? There is a law. It is always working. It is always creating. And it's always doing it, whether we're aware of it or not. And what it's doing, it's taking the mental atmosphere. The mental atmosphere is that which is our past thoughts, our current thoughts. It's blended into an atmosphere. That atmosphere is attracting to us or repelling from us. Now, remember, when we talk about a mental atmosphere, it's not just our thoughts. It's our thoughts, words, actions, and feelings. It's the alignment of our thoughts, words, and actions and feelings to a specific direction. He goes on and says, if a prayer has not been answered, it's not because God, or infinite mind, has moved to answer one person's prayer more than another, but because one person more than the other has moved themselves into right relationship with Spirit. This is really key here. They're saying there, what is right relationship? Right relationship is the relationship. Are your thoughts, words, actions, and feelings, are they on what you choose to experience? Or are you making a statement? Are you acting a way? Are you feeling a specific way in one moment? In the morning, you're doing your affirmations, your prayer work, you do that. And then the rest of the day, you're doing something different. Here's a great one. My body lives in homeostasis, and I have experienced perfect health and well-being. Great affirmation, right? Perfect health in the body. Then someone says, how are you? Oh, my gout is acting up. I had to get up 4 times last night to pee. Think about it. And you want to know the place where you want to get disease? Go to assisted living center. Because all they talk about is their bodily functions. My father's in that. I go in there. No wonder no one heals and comes out alive from assisted living. The interesting thing, though, is my dad's been in hospice for 9 months. They said he would die by June, July, the latest. He's still alive. 2 things happened. His girlfriend came to visit him. He still thinks he's 25. The second thing is, they took him off 90% of his meds. His body returned to homeostasis, to the best that he can at 91.5. He wasn't aware of it. I was, and when I got into hospice, I said, take away the meds unless it's going to make his life painful. Take the meds away. And by God, he's lived another 6 months, and God knows he may live to 100 for all I know. That's as far as he can go because his money runs out. And I want you to know I put that into law. Hunter, Dad, have your birthday, next day check out. If we know we can demonstrate, if we know that the power with which we are dealing with is principle and not personality, that's real important to get the grasp up here. It's principle, this power. It means it responds to us as we are. It does not judge what we're asking for. There is no judgment. It doesn't discern, no, that's good for you, that's bad for you. No. We have perfect freedom. We've always had perfect freedom. Think about this. If there is an infinite power and presence, which I believe there is, and I'm an individualization of that power and presence, would it give me boundaries or would it give me total freedom to express and experience life? It would give me total freedom. But what it's saying is you can do, think, be anything you want, but there is a law that's going to give you without judgment exactly what you're putting out. It's principle. It's not personality. You see, what's happened in most religions have made God a personality. They've said God judges, God's got rules, God wants you to worship it. I heard that over and over. Down on your knees and worship God. Think about this. How small must that God be that it needs anyone to worship it? If it is infinite, it needs nothing. It's complete. You get that? If something is infinite, there's nothing else. It's complete. It does not need to be worshiped. And here's the misconstruing of the word worship. Do you really know what worship means? It means to study. So if we can say, let's worship God, and we mean, let's study this aspect of God that is infinite. Let's study this aspect of God that is us. Now worship takes on a whole new meaning and a whole new sense that I can buy into. It feels good. That's what I like to do. I like to judge everything. How does it feel? Does it feel right? Because the mind, the ego mind, will do things and it will confuse us. The ego mind wants to rationalize. It wants to take control. It wants to keep us in a box. It wants to run it. We were not meant to let the ego. The ego's there. It's good, but don't let it control you. If we know that mind is the only actor, cause, effect, intelligence, truth, and power that there is. See, we can demonstrate if we know that there's only one. We're one with it. There's only one power. We're using it. We understand that our mind creates in its mind. Wow, that's a knowing. That's where meditation takes us. Meditation slows us down. It allows us to get into that connection. Yesterday we did the foundation workshop at my home, and raise your hand if you were here yesterday. There's all these beautiful people who were here. Did you experience oneness yesterday? They experienced oneness, not only oneness, they experienced love at the deepest level. When we did the angel walk, and all of you have done an angel walk, know what I'm talking about. When you are giving and receiving unconditional love in the way that happened in that thing, all the minutia of life falls away. It just falls away because you're tapped in to what really matters. And other people speaking that love to you instead of criticizing you. Other people hearing the love you're getting instead of pushing it away. The hardest thing about an angel walk is accepting the love being given to you, because we have not been taught how to accept ourselves and love. If we know that we are one with this infinite power and presence, you got to know oneness. Now, you can't know it all the time because we got a human mind, we got an ego mind, but that's where meditation comes in, or the idea of looking into a baby's eyes and seeing the love, and in that moment, being at one with that life. It's about getting to that state of oneness. It's when we have a real embodiment of these truths. We've got to embody there's an infinite. We've got to embody we're a demonstration of it. We've got to embody the fact that it is there responding to the nature of our thought. When we embody that, we become conscious creators. Now we're going to selectively choose what we think. We're not going to allow everyone else's thoughts to control where we're going. Our mental atmosphere. We are immersed in a mental atmosphere of our own thinking, which is a direct result of all that has ever been thought. Now, it says there, our own thinking. It's not only our own thinking, it's the thoughts our parents have fed us, the schools have fed us, the televisions have fed us, society has fed us, the magazines have fed us. I was a sinner. I'm making a testimonial right here. I'm going back to my Catholic faith. And I used to think that Playboy was how every woman should look. And so I sinned. What did I sin? I missed the mark, because that's what sin is. I missed the mark. And that no woman or no man should ever have to look like any other woman or any other man. Every man and woman is meant to be unique and look like them. But I was brought up as a young person, Playboy, that's the type of woman you want. That's not true. Because I bought into that, that could and did for a while lead me to unhappiness. Because it's not about the physical. Do you get it? It's not about the physical. It's about the oneness. It's about the emotional connection. It's okay to enjoy the physical, but don't make the physical the single most important thing that you want. It's not going to be your source of happiness. I know people that have dated and dated and dated and dated, gone through hundreds of men and women, and weren't happy because the happiness comes in here. The thought atmosphere attracts that which is like it and repels that which is not like it. Real simple, it's a magnet that you create. You create. No one else creates it but you. What thought has done, thought can undo. This is the gift. This is the gift. What thought has done, thought can undo. So you're never boxed in. You're never left alone. You can change. You're free. Lifelong habits of thinking can be consciously neutralized by simply creating a new thought atmosphere or habit of thinking. Do you see? You don't have to go in and analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze, because the more you go in and you analyze and analyze and analyze, you're thinking the same thing. You're going to attract more to you. What you want to do is start building a habit of thinking that is what you want, that is unique to you. You take the power back and control it. Don't let anyone else think for you. If we are lacking in any area of our life, we must erase the lack from our consciousness and any sense of lack. We must be able to see the abundance. We did an exercise yesterday where for 7 minutes, partner A told partner B what they were grateful for. 7 solid minutes. I am grateful for this. I am grateful for this. When you create that atmosphere, you're saying to the universe, I know I'm demonstrating. I want more of what I'm grateful for. But if you're focused on complaining, what are you attracting? More of what you're complaining about. Always. We erase thought from our conscious mind by pouring in the opposite thought. Can this get any simpler? I mean, the teachings of religious science are really, really, really simple. But we don't want to make them simple. We want them to be complex. This is all you have to do. You got something in your life that you're thinking about that's not good? Think about what you want. I don't need to teach anymore. I'm done. You got it all. You've heard it all. Go out and multiply. Honey, you and Michael, go right ahead. You're married. You're officially blessed. It's good. We must maintain a consistent and directed mental atmosphere. This is the most important thing. We must maintain a consistent and persistent mental atmosphere, or the law goes back and responds to the way we were. It takes time to change. That's why it takes time to demonstrate. The only reason we're limited is that we have not allowed the divine within us to become more completely express. Jesus' whole theory was based around the fact that we were surrounded by an infinite intelligence and it responds to the nature of our thought. There's the Bible right there. There's the whole Bible right there in the teachings of Jesus. He taught we were surrounded by an infinite atmosphere that responds to the nature of our thought. He said it this way: it is done unto you as you believe. It is the Father within that does the work. It is not I, but the Father. In my house, there are many mansions. In other words, there's infinite ways of expressing. But we've twisted and turned this teaching to make it something that can control us, to make it dogma. That's not what Jesus was. Jesus wasn't a Christian. Can you understand that? He was a Jew. He came to teach the Jews and the Gentiles to have life more abundantly. He did not start out to create a religion. He fought that because he knew religion would hold you in. It boxed you in. He was a rebel. Think about him. He was the biggest rebel of his time. God, you got to love rebels. I look in the mirror every day and say, thank you, Jesus. You're my role model. We must not only believe, we must know that our belief measures the extent and the degree of what we demonstrate. So our belief creates, but we got to know that the type of belief, the depth of our belief, measures the extent and depth of what we bring in. So if we're not getting the depth, we got to work on our belief. Not on someone else's belief, on our belief. I tried to work on Gene's belief. Doesn't work. When I worked on my belief, I saw Gene differently. That was the key. I shifted. It's always within me, as it is within you. It is if our belief is limited, our experience will be limited. This is the law of mental equivalence. I'm going to stop there. So I'm going off script now, intentionally. And I posted something on Facebook, and I asked the question, have we become desensitized to the meaning of death? And I'm really addressing what happened in Florida with the children there. And I don't have the answer. But here's what I'm going to suggest to you. And I'm not discussing this. I'm not going to have an argument about it. I want to throw things out there. I'm going back to when I was a child and to what's happening now. When I watched a cowboy and Indian movie and there was some shooting in that, it wasn't a major part of the movie. It wasn't gory in that. But if I go to a movie now and I watch the blood and the gore that happens, how's that impacting my mind? Is that thought being fed into my mind? You bet it is. Whether you think it is or it's not, it is a mental atmosphere that's shooting in. And so you think it's commonplace. Watch the movie Die Hard. Makes like it's a commonplace movie. You can take any of these movies and it becomes commonplace. Then we now have these ideas of video games. What are most of the video games? Shooter games? Killing games? So it becomes natural. We're striving to kill. The object is to win, and winning comes through killing. Now, I know it's a fantasy. It's not real. But wait a second. If everything entering our mind has the potential to impact our consciousness, how's that affecting us? The other thing that's happening now is there appears to be more broken family relationships than anywhere. So there's not a solid foundation from which kids are growing up in. So the kids don't have the support. They don't have the same guidance. Now you throw on top of that the ease of which it is to receive a gun. It is easier to get a driver's license, or easier to get a gun than it is a driver's license. Does that make sense? I don't think so. It's okay in today's world to lie. If you watch the television, there are lies everywhere. Just go see the fact checking on any politician that's out there, and you're going to see lying and lying and lying. And we have come as a race to accept it. We accept the lies. By accepting the lies, are we holding anyone accountable? So are we victims, or are we creators of it? That's the question I bring to you. We cannot change what happened in Florida by just simply create new laws. We have to create a whole new consciousness. We can't change any other human being on the planet, but we can change this human being. That's where this starts. So I'm going to ask you to start looking at your life differently. And see, what is it you're going to feed your mind? What are you going to consciously choose to put in your mind? And are you going to allow what is happening to continue, or are you the beginning of the solution? If I could, I'd put on my hippie clothes, go back to 1969 and say, I'm part of the solution. I'm rebelling. Bring on the rock and roll. Bring on the rock and roll. Here's the key thing. Next is, to begin our use our power, we must use our imagination to create a new mold to which the law can respond. And when we do that together, we create a new life. Again, we've got to begin to imagine. We've got to imagine it differently than it is. Thinking outside the box, and you all have that. I have a very, very strong belief. And that is, I believe in you. I believe that this community right here today can change the world. Because when we become conscious, we affect the world in ways that we cannot even imagine. Because everyone we know will be touched by who we become. My challenge to you is, can you will you step into your greatness? Let's pray. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.